Hello everyone on YouTube.
Hello.
It's good to see you guys. It's been a while since I've had Emily on the live stream.
Yeah.
And we actually just finished shooting a video together. So if you are watching this in the replay, today what we're going to be talking about is kind of like the blessing of singleness, or really what to do as a single person when you're in college or whatever the case is. And so if you want to join in the discussion, make sure you turn on the notifications so that way you know next time when we go live. But to skip forward past all the shout outs and all that kind of stuff, and just to be ready when the video starts, there will be a comment that is pinned below so that you can jump straight ahead to the content that we have to share with you guys today. So we got people jumping into the live stream right away. So why don't we give some shout outs? Go ahead and say hi to a couple people there, Emily.
Hi, Julie.
Julie's Journey to Health. Good to see you, Julie. Julie was actually on our live stream earlier this morning.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's good to see you again, Julie. Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Welcoming you all into the chat. Look, everyone's saying hi, yay. Hello, Emily. It's good to see everybody.
Wow.
Okay, so if any of you guys are brand new to the channel, or new to kind of just my channel, and you haven't met this lovely person, this is...
Hi, I'm Justin's wife.
that's how you're going to say it?
I'm Emily, Justin's wife.
This is Emily, and if you haven't ever met her before, this is my wife. Hello there.
Yeah.
And I want you to share like 2 or 3 things about you to maybe the 1 or 2 people who have never met you before.
I married Justin 2 years ago. I'm an occupational therapist currently. I work with older people. And I enjoy being out in nature and long walks on the beach.
Long walks on the beach.
Yeah, that's pretty much it right now. But
Oh, look, you got a name twin in the chat. There's
Yay.
Emily Summers and another Emily. Hello, everyone. All right, cool. So now that we've got everyone in the chat, today we want to talk to you guys about singleness. So if you're excited about this topic, or maybe you're not so excited about singleness, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Invite them into the live chat, and then we will be answering some of your guys' questions after we share it. So today we want to talk to you guys about singleness. You know, this is something that can be really challenging, especially if you're in that kind of college age or something along those lines. You're gonna try and stand
sorry,
up.
I'm just gonna, yeah.
Why don't you just stand
Well,
up?
I just kind of want to rest my foot.
Just stand up. Okay. So today we want to talk to you guys about singleness. You know, how many of us have not had that moment in school? You look around, and especially around springtime, you just see everyone kind of just pairing off together. And they're doing the PDA and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, man, I wish I had that. Have any of you guys ever felt like that? Or is that just me? You ever felt just like, man, I wish that there was someone that I could have to call my own, or whatever the case is. And so when it comes to singleness, you know, we often look at that like as an evidence that there's something wrong with me, rather than looking at that as an opportunity. And so today we want to talk to you a little bit about how that can be a blessing to you. So Emily, how has being single in your life, have you ever been single before, or
For
have you just
sure.
always had the guys chasing
No,
after you?
I've always been single.
No.
Yeah.
So how do you interact with that a little bit?
Well, it was definitely hard to wait when I was single. Like, I was single for 4 years before I met Justin, had a previous relationship for 2 years before that time, but I was like getting into my mid-20s, and I'm just like, God, where's the person? And I was just kind of impatient. But
Try not to shake the table, you're gonna
Sorry.
end up shaking the camera.
But I think during those 4 years of being single, like, I had a lot of life experiences that prepared me for a serious, like, marriage relationship. So even though I was kind of impatient, like, it was really preparing me for you. So
Definitely. And I think singleness is definitely like an opportunity. When I was single, I had a lot more time to, like, say, go to the gym. I had a lot more time to read and to study. I had a lot more time to develop meaningful friendships and relationships. You know, after we got married, we ended up moving to the other side of the country, and we ended up missing out on some of those, like, friends that we had as we were growing up in college and things like that. And so I think singleness really is an opportunity. You know, when you think about people in the Bible, some of the most successful and some of the most impactful people for the kingdom of God were, in fact, single.
Yeah.
Can you think of a couple people who were single in the Bible that made a big difference?
Paul, for sure.
Paul was definitely a first one. And Paul even went a little bit further and said, you know what, I think that everyone should be just like me. I think everyone should be single.
But then he talks about marriage, too. And how marriage is,
Yeah,
so.
and then he does. But it's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, you think about that. Paul did a lot, and largely because he was single. I mean, he did a lot of traveling around the Mediterranean at that time, planting churches and doing ministry. And that would have been a lot harder if he had a spouse. It would have been a lot harder if he had any children or something like that. Yeah, there you go. We got people in the chat saying, yeah, also Jesus. Jesus was also single.
Oh, yeah, Jesus.
Duh, right, Jesus.
Big one.
Of course. So yeah, singleness can actually really definitely be a blessing depending on how you approach it and what you do during that time. So one thing that I would say that you probably shouldn't do if you are single is to spend your entire single period searching for someone else.
Yeah.
Why well, can you think of why that would maybe be a bad thing to do?
Because you're not focused in that season of life where you are and where God has put you. Mm-hmm. So you're not taking that opportunity to grow and to become prepared for that person.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're always looking forward to what's to come and wishing you were in another place in life, you know, kind of like the whole grass is greener on the other side kind of a picture, you know, then you're not really paying attention to what God is doing in your life today and what the opportunities are today. And so one thing that, you know, just always searching for that other person, it doesn't allow you to realize, hey, maybe God is actually trying to do something in your life right here, right now. And so, you know, definitely being single, gives you a lot of opportunities and a lot of room for growth personally. So now, actually, let me ask you this. Now that we are married, what is something that you wish you did more when you were single?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like something that maybe we can't do as much now, but you wish you would have done more when you were single.
Do you travel a little more?
Travel a little more?
Because you're the one who does all the traveling now. And
That's true. I definitely do a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
So where would you travel to if you had the opportunity to travel?
Like more national parks and stuff.
Oh, national parks?
Yeah.
Like which one?
Like some in southern hemisphere of the U.S., like Utah and stuff like that.
Utah? I don't know if Utah's in the south.
I don't know. Yeah. Zion and stuff like that.
Okay, dude, travel.
What would you do?
What would I do if I was still single, or what would I do more if I was single? I would probably, you know, honestly, I think traveling is probably one that I would definitely do a lot more. But here's what I would try. I would try to spend time meeting new people. That's something that's a lot harder to do when you're married. To just like hang out with people socially, I think that's definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
But just to get to know people and to like broaden my sphere of friends and my network of people that I know. So I think that's something that I would definitely do.
Oh, cool. That's a good one.
So let's go into the comments and let's see what you guys have to say about this subject. So here's one that I see right here. Someone is saying, but I don't actually want to be single anymore. Can you relate with that ever before?
Definitely. Around the time I met Justin, right before that, I was like, I'm getting real tired of being single.
And that's something that I guess it could be said as an encouragement. If you're in that season of life where you don't want to be single anymore, like, you know, that is something that all of us have really gone through for the vast majority of us. Like, we've all had that waiting period of just being single and wondering, okay, is God preparing me for someone or not? Like, how many years was that for you?
Is God preparing me for someone?
Like, just, that singleness period, just...
Probably about 3 years, maybe.
3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was longer than that. Mine was like 5 or 6 or 7 years or something like that. So, you know, I think that this is something that you're not alone in. If you're feeling like you wish that you were with someone, then you're not alone. This is why I don't want you to sit, because it looks like you're just like one head. You're just like this tall.
Well, my knee is hurting a little bit. So.
Okay, then scoot over to the left side so you're closer to the camera. And then scooch up a little bit more. Let's see. There you go. You're a little bit taller now.
Humongous nose.
You do got a big nose.
Ah.
Let's see what else. Something about dating sites. What's the deal with dating sites?
I've never been on a dating site. I don't know.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so one suggestion.
Excuse me.
If you don't want to be single, then there's lots of Christian dating sites. Would you ever sign up for a Christian dating site if you were single?
I thought about it, and I almost did, but it was like a $2,000 subscription. So.
What?
Wait, that wasn't a Christian dating site. It was like a site where you actually meet people in person.
It was $2,000?
Yeah, because they like went through all these like testing so you could like find a better match and like obviously your religious preferences, like Christian, and so it was like, I'm not paying that. I'm a student. I have student loans, so I didn't sign up for it.
Yeah, that sounds a bit excessive. So how about this? Where would you suggest people go if they are actually trying to meet fellow believers, like other Christians that they could maybe potentially date or marry down the line.
Yeah, I'd say like church or college events if you're in college. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. I you know, maybe even talking to some friends and have them kind of like set you up on blind dates. Have you ever been on a blind date?
Yeah, and they weren't good.
They weren't good? Your friends didn't like really know you that good?
No, I mean, they're okay, but nothing happened from them.
Okay, so we have a question. All right, we got people saying that they want... Okay, so here's one from a fellow Emily in the chat. I don't want to date in high school, but it's still nice to have people to notice me. Is that bad? What do you think?
To notice you.
To have, like, the desire for people to notice you.
That's a good question.
Your face is so reflective. You're
It's
like
so
the
bright.
moon. It's like solar eclipse going
Right
here.
here, eclipse. What do you say?
Is it, if it's wrong to want people
Yeah.
to notice you? I don't know, because I relate with that.
Like,
You know, I
what
mean,
type
who
of way
do-
do you want them to notice you? Like, are you wearing, like, kind of revealing clothing, like, sexually notice you? I think that's kind of a problem or a bad thing. But notice you in a positive way. Oh, like, she's a good Christian. Like, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, it definitely does depend on how you want them to notice you. I think that a lot of people relate with that desire, though. A lot of us definitely want to be recognized. We want to be noticed. We want to know that we do matter. And I think that comes, you know, I think that that's something that is relatable for all people. But I think that you definitely want to be careful with that, because that type of narcissism, that type of ego can definitely become unhealthy very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Want to pick one? Oh, here's a good suggestion. Christian camp works wonders to find someone as well.
Yeah.
You used to work in summer camp.
I worked at camp and I dated someone from camp for 2 years and it didn't work out. But not saying that about everybody. It can work out. But yeah, it's good because you're both serving together. It's a great place to serve, and yeah.
I never really did summer camp, so I couldn't speak to
We
that.
did like another type of summer camp called portering.
Why are you so short? She's white and I'm the Asian and she's the short one. We always have this challenge in videos whenever I'm trying to like frame the shot. It's usually like me like peeking over the camera and then like her in picture, or like if I'm in picture then it's like just her head and like no torso or anything like that.
I have a short torso.
Moneyman says, I'm in high school. Do I think it's a good idea to go after a girl, maybe strengthen her walk with God along the way? Here's what I would say, Moneyman, is if you're in high school, you know, there's certainly nothing wrong with getting to know other people. And if they're girls, it's, you know, that's fine. You kind of have to obviously develop friendships with these girls and get to know them and find out what kind of characteristics and qualities you do like, which ones you don't like, which ones are non-negotiables, and which ones are preferences and things like that. But with that said, I would actually really strongly suggest not getting into super serious relationships in high school.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's the wisest thing, because who you are in high school compared to even who you are just a few years later in college is so drastically different, right?
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't get in a serious relationship in high school either.
So you know, I would say spend time making friends and things like that, but definitely, you know, I wouldn't suggest getting into serious relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that it can't work. I think it can work at certain times, but I would say maybe spend those hours and that time of your life really focused on some of the other things, some of the things that will last for like the rest of your life, like your character, develop skills and qualities, study and get good grades, things like that. Yeah, that's kind of my suggestion.
Yeah, like I took a year in college to do mission work, and that was really awesome.
Were you dating someone at that time?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
So it was just like really a growing experience. And
do you think you would have made the decision to go on a mission year if you were in a relationship at that point?
Probably not.
Probably not.
It would have just been hard long distance and stuff. So
I think that's a real answer.
Yeah.
Like, being in a relationship does stop you from...
I'm doing other things. Yeah, it's true.
And was that a good experience doing the mission?
It was really good, yeah.
Good. We got a super chat, so let's give a shout out to Alicia Adams. Many of God's blessings to all of you, single or not. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate that. That's really nice.
Thank you.
Okay, Rihanna is asking a question. How do you tell the difference between infatuation and then she doesn't say. Okay, but I'm assuming, how do you tell the difference between infatuation and love?
Yeah.
One thing I would say is love always leads you to be self-sacrificing, because that's the definition of love, right? Love is wanting the best for someone else above yourself. And I think infatuation is probably the exact opposite of that. Someone that you're infatuated with, you are interested in that person for what you can get out of the equation. So I think if it's love, it causes you to become more self-sacrificing and to seek the betterment of that other person. If it's infatuation, you're more selfish about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Want to pick a question?
Keep going. Do you think it's good to get... Oh. It's kind of that question.
It takes so long to find a question. There are a lot of
It's been a
comments, though,
while.
in your defense.
Whoa. Whoa.
No. What are you doing?
Oops.
You just have to drag it. That one?
What does it say?
Dennis's comment?
Yeah.
It says, I was once very close to God. Are you not wearing your glasses or contacts?
No, I'm just slow at
You're
reading.
blind.
So go.
Okay.
Slower.
It says, I was once very close to God, pursuing missions, and grew very depressed. Then I began to drink often and gained a dependence to alcohol. Now I'm so far from it, and I don't know what to do. Help.
Well, that's hard. I mean, because especially when we go through hard times in life, we tend to fall into our old sinful tendencies and not rely on God. So I would say get help, surround yourself with supportive people who can be helpful, fellow Christians. Go to a church, because being wallowed in your sin all alone is really challenging. You're just going to keep going further, I think. So
Yeah.
you want people that will support you and get out of that situation.
Mm-hmm. And it's totally okay to seek support groups like AA or things like that. You know, I have friends that have gone through those types of programs who are still part of those programs. And from what I've heard, those are amazing programs to really, really be helpful for.
Yeah.
But good for you for already reaching out, even on this channel. The fact that you're asking that question, I think, says a lot about where your heart is.
Yeah, and being honest with a bunch of people on social media.
Yeah, that's huge.
Too,
so, you know, even though you may not be where you want to be right now, Dennis, huge kudos to you. You're heading in the right direction. Just keep going. Don't stop. Keep seeking that out, and I think that you'll make some really good moves in your life. We believe in you, Dennis.
Okay.
Let's see. Carolina Man is asking, is church a good way to pick up women? I don't know. Church is more of a location. I don't really know if church is a strategy on picking women up. Would you be okay to finding a date while you're at church?
Depends on the setting. I don't know. If it's a small group you've been going to for a while and kind of getting to know the people, I think that's better.
What if you were just at a random church, a big church, and some random guy came up to you and said, "Hey, I think you're pretty cute. Would you like to go out and do?"
That's never happened to me
dinner?"
before, so I don't know.
No, but what would you do if that happened?
I don't know. Probably say let's hang out first in a group of people. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see here. Is it wrong to want a boyfriend, says Kiara. I don't know that it's necessarily wrong, though I think a large part of that depends upon your season in life. If you're 12 years old and you want a boyfriend, maybe that's not the healthiest time frame to seek after that. Even in your teens, if you're not yet out of college, maybe that's not the best either. You want to focus, you want to kind of focus on the priorities that you have in life. But I think at a certain time, it's okay. Oh, so you're saying that you're 16. Okay, so if you're 16, like we said earlier, like if you're in high school, having a serious relationship at that time probably isn't the best thing to do. There's so much more that you could really be investing your life into at that point that would make a huge difference.
A lot more growth too.
Yeah, because you know what happens is, you know, you find a relationship and relationships take up a lot of time. That's just the reality of it if you want that relationship to be even moderately healthy. But when you think about it, what percentage of high school relationships really work out long term? You know, not
Very small.
Not a ton. So, you know, why can't you invest those hours, you know, in studying to become a better student, or developing a very good hobby like music or sports or something like that, or, you know, just to really develop your relationship with God or to serve other people, like those kinds of things. Those things will never stop even if the event stops. Like the value of learning how to play an instrument, like let's say you're taking lessons to learn that instrument, and you stop taking those lessons, guess what? You still have developed a skill that's really, really helpful.
Yeah, and you're developing good characteristics and things that a quality male or female would be attracted to. So you want the highest quality of person, you know, when
Good
you're
point.
ready at that time.
Yeah.
So.
Good stuff. What if you want to go into higher education and won't be done with school until like age 28?
That's the normal age to get married in America. It's not that bad.
It seems like our generation is getting married later and later and later. We're not, listen, we're not trying to say that you can't date while you're in school.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the point. But I think high school is too early to have a serious relationship. We met while you were in college.
Yeah.
You know?
Graduate school. So.
She was in graduate school, and we were both 25 years old at the time. And so, you know, we're like, even for our own story, we started dating while we were in college. And so that's totally fine. I think that's totally okay. Even if you're going to be finished with school at 28, like, you can still have some serious relationships before that. And I think that that's appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy Wan says this: I'm in a strong and stable relationship with God, but I'm very maternal and have a very strong desire for a partner, even though I don't want one in this season. How do I stop feeling these emotions? Okay, that's interesting,
really
because you know that that's not what you want right now, but your feelings are kind of like betraying you at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe you can help out with that, because you're more the feeler out of the two of us.
I think everyone who's single has that desire to be in a relationship and have that emotional void be filled. Like, that's very normal. I think especially for guys, like, godly guys who want to wait for sex till marriage, it's really hard, you know, to do that too. So kind of filling those voids is really challenging. But I think since it's not the season to be in a relationship for you, really focus on those things, developing good relationships with, you know, church members and your girlfriends, have a strong support group with your family, as well as focusing on growing your own talents too. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I think fighting the whole feelings part, I think that's such applicable to like every other category in life. Because I mean, how many times do we have to fight between what we know is better or what's right and what we feel about something? And so I think that I can definitely relate with that struggle a lot. Like, I think that that's a challenging thing. But realize, again, that your feelings, I think, should never dictate what you do. Like, your feelings are your feelings, you know, but what you do is what matters the most. So I don't think God, like, judges you based off of your feelings per se, but on your actions more so. So even though you feel something doesn't mean that you have to act on that feeling. You know, so if I feel frustrated and I want to like punch somebody in the face, you know, I have to recognize, hey, that feeling that's there is not good. That feeling doesn't come from God. That feeling is a result of sin. And so I got to suppress that feeling and say, you know what, God, in this moment right now, this is how I feel, and I want to ask you for help to overcome that feeling. And I think that whether that's like anger, whether that's, you know, lust, or that's a desire for something that isn't in the right season of your life, I think that, you know, God will definitely answer your prayers in those moments.
Yeah. For sure.
Justin, read Carolina Man's comment. Okay, where's Carolina Man's comment? Okay, I feel like there is a higher being, and I want that higher being in my life. How do I go about that if I'm not a religious person? Okay, so, you know, you can obviously do the kind of like the obvious thing. You go to church or something like that if you're inclined to do that. But if you're kind of like scared to go to church, or maybe you just don't know a church, or like you're just kind of like hesitant to do that, just talk to a friend. You know, find a Christian person and ask them for their advice, or ask them for their story, and just meet with them. And it doesn't have to be anything super formal. Just kind of like one-on-one, just hanging out and say, hey, listen, I believe that there's something out there, and I kind of want to know, why do you believe in Jesus? Like, why are you a Christian? And then maybe their story, maybe their experience can kind of help you work through some of those challenges that you're going through yourself. So I just say, just connect with someone. You know, it doesn't have to be like this journey that you're on all by yourself. But I think that's really the cool thing about being able to have community. I'm reading all of Ian Foreman's comments, who's saying things like greedy religions suck, and there's no God, and God is your illusion. Hey Ian, thank you so much for being here on this live stream, and I'm glad that you're here and that you feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. And you're welcome here. And if you ever want to check out some of our stuff or ask any questions, you're always welcome to do so. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so I have people reaching out to Carolina, man. Okay, so where in Carolina do you live? And maybe someone in the chat lives nearby, and maybe they can actually connect with you on a personal one-to-one basis. But other than that, Carolina, man, if you have any questions that you want to reach out to and you don't have any Christian friends nearby, you can reach out to me on Facebook or something like that, and I'm always happy to chat with you if there's any way that I can help. But it says that you are in Raleigh, North Carolina. So if any of you guys are from North Carolina area and you can connect with this guy and just encourage him, that would be really cool.
Yeah. North Carolina's awesome.
Did we go to, was that where we went?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to North Carolina. Oh, you want to do that one for Sally?
How can we use our talents to glorify God, like artistic or musical talents, for instance? Well, I definitely think you should be using them to glorify God. I think that's really important, to not hide them under a bushel.
Hide it under a bushel. No!
I would say get connected with a church, or even like a coffee shop. If you want to like sing some spiritual songs at a coffee shop, that'd be great. Using your artistic talents for God that way.
Ooh, I got one.
What?
You can do a karaoke night.
Oh, yeah.
Just find some Filipinos and ask them when's the next karaoke night. Filipinos love karaoke night. So maybe you can just do that and get some practice with friends and things like that. And that will be your first way to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just writing songs or things like that, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Oh. Let's see.
You want to talk about that?
No, you should, because you struggle with that too. Elevation Church.
Oh yeah, there's a good recommendation if you're in North Carolina. The Elevation Church. We've never been there, but we love their music. So maybe that's something that you can check out. That'd be kind of cool. Here's a comment from Gigi. I'm single and 18 years old, but thinking of dating makes me feel scared to date because I'm so insecure of myself and afraid of ending up with someone who hurts me emotionally or physically. Yeah, if you've ever, like if you've ever witnessed that kind of abuse in your family, like that is definitely something that is scary. But I mean, really what that comes down to for love, like love is really a risk. That's really what it is, because you don't know what the other person's going to say all the time. You don't know how they're going to respond. And you have to kind of find someone that you can trust and that you can really like be vulnerable and open with. And that's the best type of relationships that you have. But that doesn't mean that you go around and just be vulnerable with everybody and just let everyone just kind of into your heart. You know, you got to find someone that you can really, really trust.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, we're coming up at the half-hour mark, and I promised Emily that we'd only be on the live stream for about half an hour.
It's late here, and we gotta go to bed soon.
It is late. What time is it right now? It is that right? 10 o'clock?
10:10.
It's a little bit past 10 for us, so we're going to sign off pretty soon. Anything else that you want to share before we sign off? So I want you guys to harass Emily about something. Emily is thinking about, and even wrote already, she's thinking about starting her own blog. Like a written blog where she shares kind of her own perspectives on life and things like that. And so, if that's something that you guys would like to see, encourage her on her Instagram or Facebook, whatever. Just say, hey, just praying for you. We're really looking forward to your blog or whatever. So I'm hoping that she gets the courage to do it and she just follows through. But I think it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Alrighty, well, hey guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us on this live stream. I know it was a shorter live stream, but hey, if you want to follow us on our journey whenever we go live or whatever the case is, be sure to turn on the channel notifications below. And if you're new here, definitely subscribe. We release new videos every single Monday and Thursday. And our video on Thursday actually will be featuring Emily. So definitely check that out. But until next time, we're That Christian Vloggers, and we want to encourage you to experience faith in the first person. God bless.
Awesome. Thank you.
See you guys.